Juror 2, I'd like you to look over her shoulder so you can review the verdict forms. And I want to know from you whether these are your true and correct verdicts. Once I've heard from both of you, give the verdict forms to juror number 3. Juror 3, look at the verdict forms. Juror 4, look over her shoulder. So ultimately, I'm going to want to hear from all 12 of you whether these verdict forms reflect your individual true and correct verdicts. Everybody understand? All right. You're going to put these two in the morning. Juror number 1, are those your true and correct verdicts? Juror number 2?
Yes.
Juror 3 and 4?
Yes.
Juror 5 and 6? Juror 5, are those your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror 6?
Yes.
All right, let's get the verdict forms to juror 7. Juror 8, look over her shoulder. Juror number 7, those are your true and correct verdicts? Juror 7?
Yes.
Juror 8?
Yes.
9 and 10? Juror 9?
Yes.
Juror 10?
Yes.
11 and 12. Juror 11?
Yes.
Juror 12?
Yes.
All right, all jurors have stated that the verdict forms reflect their individual true and correct verdicts. Alex, read the verdict.
Yes, Your Honor. The Los Angeles Superior Court, County of Los Angeles. People of the State of California versus Rakim Mayers, case number BA 508142-01. We, the jury in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Rakim Mayers, not guilty of the
Not get the audience. Or you cannot get the audience.
Another one upwards and you'll be asked to leave.
Hold it down, hold it down. The verdict has to be read on count.
Yes, sir. Repeat again. We, the jury, the above entitled action, find the defendant, Rakim Mayers, not guilty of the semiautomatic firearm in violation of Penal Code Section 245, Section B, a felony is charging count 1 of the information this 18th day of February 2025, jury seat number 9, 4%.
All right.
Title of court and cause. We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Rakim Mayers, not guilty of the crime of assault with a firearm in violation of Penal Code Section 245, Section B, a felony of charging count 2 of the information this 18th day of February 2025, juror seat number 9, 4%.
During this trial,
This is KCAL News at 5 o'clock with the verdict in the ASAP Rocky trial. Let's listen in.
What we asked of you at the very beginning, which is to give both sides a fair trial, pay attention, use your common sense, apply the law, and base your verdict on the evidence. I know you took extensive notes, and you took this as seriously as any jury could. We cannot have jury trials without folks like you. So you certainly have my gratitude. I want to extend to you my best wishes. Again, thank you. The admonition to not discuss the case no longer applies. You can talk about the case with anybody you want to, or nobody if you don't want to. Alex has your certificates of completion. You can take your juror badges with you. Thank you again. You are excused.
Everybody remain seated in the public. We're going to let the jurors walk out first.
All right, well, if you've been listening, the verdict has been reached in the ASAP Rocky trial. He was found not guilty
On 3 different counts.
On 3 different counts. And we're going to talk to our Mike Rogers to fill us in on exactly what those counts were. But again, A$AP Rocky has been found not guilty on all 3 counts that he was charged with in his felony assault trial.
And really hard to hear, Pat, because you heard when they first read that first not guilty verdict, he jumped over into the audience there to give hugs to his supporters there. And it was hard even for us to hear in the studio what those counts were.
Because they're such emotional outbursts. And I'm not sure if that was Rihanna, his fiancée, and the mother of his children, who he actually jumped over to embrace or not. And we're saying her name because she was very visible in the courtroom when she was there, and she is a superstar.
He hugged a blonde lady first, and then he went into the crowd there, so I believe he might have been there. So he was Okay,
let's
Mike,
bring in,
you have the information
Mike.
for us, Mike?
Yeah, I just wanted to let you know. So he was facing 24 years in prison on these state charges. That's after he declined a plea deal of just about 6 months. So he is now a free man. He's been adjudicated and found not guilty in this case, in this situation. And it was as a result of that 2021 shooting when he allegedly pointed a gun and fired that gun. Now, his defense had maintained that gun was just a prop gun. And I think we've got the video from just moments ago when that not guilty verdict was read. Almost. We're going to work on that for you right now. But they were able to read that verdict, and as you guys mentioned, that very loud cheering, very loud applause about where or when that was happening. Now, as I mentioned, you mentioned, Rihanna was in the courtroom today. Just moments ago, we got video of her coming into the courtroom.
Rakim
Here's the verdict.
Mayers, not guilty.
Yeah, and as I was saying, he was originally on trial here because of the alleged weapon that was used in this case. It was a semi-automatic handgun. He allegedly shot at his now former friend. The defense maintaining, though, that this was a prop gun that was used. I want to take you to live pictures outside of the courtroom. We are awaiting a press conference from anybody, the prosecution, the defense attorney. Unclear if A$AP Rocky himself will speak. Probably unlikely given his status as a celebrity. But as I mentioned, you guys, we did see Rihanna come into the courtroom as well. She had showed up with her 2 kids on the final day last Friday when they were all deciding before the closing arguments were given, before the case was given to the jury to deliberate. They've only deliberated not very long at all in this case. And as you mentioned, found not guilty on those 3 counts.
You know, maybe one of the factors, and we'll hear about that, I'm sure, during this press conference, from what I understand, from what I have read, no gun was presented at all in this trial. So if it was a real gun or a prop gun, neither one was presented as evidence.
Right.
So that may have had something to do with how the jury found him not guilty.
And the jury really had 2 options here. They had the option to believe the defense's argument that this was a prop gun that was being used. They also had the ability to believe that it was self-defense, even if it was a real gun. So the jury had a lot of kind of leeway to side with A$AP Rocky, and A$AP Rocky's defense team took advantage of that in the hearing. And as I mentioned before, and as we've reported, it was a very contentious trial between the defense attorney and the prosecution. At times, the 2 kind of going at each other, the judge having to intervene, the prosecution leveling a lot of objections to some of the things that the defense attorney was doing throughout this case. So it was a pretty bitter trial back and forth. But again, the jury only had to believe one of 2 things, either that it was self-defense or that it was a prop gun.
And what's interesting, Mike, I'm reading here too, is that neither gun was produced for the jury during this trial. A$AP Rocky was saying it was a prop gun that fired blanks, and that if those were fired, those wouldn't hurt anybody.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And he got a minor bruise.
Minor bruise on the wrist, right?
Yeah, from what we understand.
Knuckles.
All right, thanks so much, Mike.